Number 6 is a rate question. Travis makes $143 for 13 hours of work. He makes the same amount of money for each hour of work. Which table shows the relationship between his hours worked and his money earned? So basically we have a rate. Our rate is 13 over 143. This 13 I'm going to label with hours, and this I'm going to label with D for dollars. So we have to see which ratio, which table of ratios matches up with the current rate that he's earning. So in this table, I could take any of these, and I'm just going to take the first one. 2 hours, since I put the hours up top, I'm going to put it up top here, and $40. So the first thing I have to do is I have to figure out, and I actually like putting the smaller number on this side, so 2 over 40. So the first thing I have to figure out is how can I get from 2 to 13 using multiplication? What I'm trying to find is I'm trying to find the scale factor. The way I do that is I'm going to find 13 divided by 2. I know 2 can't go into 1, but I know 2 can go into 13 6 times, and that gives me 12. Now I'm left with the remainder, and what I do then is I put a decimal up and bring down a 0. My new number is 10, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. So my scale factor is going to be times 6.5. And what I do to the top, because 2 times 6.5 makes 13, I have to do to the bottom. So we have to see if 40 times 6.5 makes 143. So we're going to multiply it out. 40 times 6.5 is going to be 240. This is going to be 200, or 2,400. This is going to be 200. This is going to be 0 and 0. When I add it up, I'm going to get 2,600. And I know that I am going to have one number behind the decimal, so I will get 260. So it's saying that this number right here should be 260 at this rate. And since it's not 260, I know that that chart is incorrect. Another way that I could solve this problem is by finding the actual rate between hours and money in his initial problem and in the charts. So if I have my initial rate of 13 over 143, the way I can find the initial rate is just by dividing. So 13 divided by 100. When I divide this, it comes out to 0.09. So what I want to do is I want to compare the rates from the table. So I would do 1 divided by 15. When I divide 1 divided by 15, I come out to 0.06. And I can see that the rates, or the relationship between the two numbers, is not the same. And once again, this same thing will work for answer choice A. So since I know that 13 over 143 is 0.09, now let's say if I did 2 divided by 40, I would come out with 0.05, which once again we can see is not the same rate. So if I go to D, once again, if I use my initial rate, which is 13 over 143, and I know it comes out to 0.09, and I'm just going to put Travis's. Now I'm going to do 14 divided by 156. If I divide those out, 14 divided by 156, I will end up getting 0.089, which is extremely close, and actually rounds up to 0.09. So I'm going to put a question mark and try the next one. So now I'm going to try this next rate. I'm going to try 20 over 200. And 20 over 200 will come out to 0.1, which isn't close enough for me to say maybe. So I'm going to put an X on this one because the rate of 20 over 200 is different than the rate from Travis's. So now I'm going to try answer choice B. And once again, I know Travis's rate is 0.09. And now I'm going to have to divide 15 divided by 165. When I divide that out, I'm going to get 0.09. And just because this one works, just like down here, if I said maybe, just because this one works, that means I still have to check the rest. So now I'm going to do 26 divided by 286, which once again will come out to 0.09. And just because this one works doesn't mean I'm done. I'm also going to check this one. So 30 divided by 330 will also give me 0.09. Because this table, the rate of hours to money, 0.09, matches the rate of Travis's, I can go ahead and circle this one. Number 7, Nicholas has 2.5 eggs for every 7 bacon strips. Which ratio is equivalent or the same to the ratio of eggs to bacon? So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to rewrite 2.5 as 2.5. And 7 I can just leave. So I know the ratio is asking for eggs to bacon, and the word eggs comes first. So I'm going to go ahead and put the eggs over here and the bacon over here. So what I have to do is I have to see which one of these rates is going to match up. And the easiest way to do that is the same way that we would compare fractions in 5th grade. So I'm going to write 10 over 28, and I'm going to write 2.5 over 7. And the easy way to compare fractions that we learned last year is the butterfly. So 10 times 7 will make 70, and 78 times 2.5 will also make 70. Because these are the same, that is telling me that these are equivalent ratios. So once again, our initial ratio was 2.5 over 7. And now I'm going to compare it to 5 over 10. If I do 10 times 2.5, I'm going to get 25. If I do 7 times 5, I'm going to get 35. And I know that these ratios are not the same, so I know they are not equivalent. Now I'm going to go ahead and check the next one. Once again, our initial ratio is 2.5 over 7. And in this one, it is 7 over 2.5. So what I know is 7 times 7 is going to be 49. And then I know 2.5 times 2.5 is going to be basically nowhere near 49, because if we estimate 2 times 2 at minimum is going to be 4, and even if we round it up, 3 times 3 at most would be 9, and 9 is a nowhere near 49, so I know that is not the right answer. Lastly, I'm going to check 2.5 over 7 and 15 over 45. So lastly, when I check this final answer choice, I get 2.5 times 45, which is 112.5, and 7 times 15, which is 105. Those are not equivalent, so I can cross it out. And even though I saw that this one was right from the very beginning, I didn't just go ahead and circle it. I circled it, but I made sure to prove that all the other ones were wrong as well.